This the link up. This the link up. This the link up. Welcome to the link up. This the link up. This the link up. This the link up. Welcome to the link up. Oh. Yes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the LinkUp podcast with your hosts, Mr. King and Kana.
Good evening.
Evening? Okay, true. Well, whatever time people decide to listen
you
to
never
this.
know, you know. Everybody got different time zones.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is another in-between week. This week's edition of the LinkUp podcast, we don't have any guests here. It's just your host, me and Mr. King Kana.
But yeah, it's just, again, you just got us this week.
Yes.
So what good, boy? What you been doing this past week? I think it's been a while we do this, boy.
It's been 2 weeks. You know the routine. We've been doing this every 2 weeks.
You know what it is? Because the last time we recorded was on a Saturday. So I think, it was a little bit longer.
For that exact reason, it feels closer. Because I feel like I just put out the last podcast. I admit I was a little late. I was a little late because I was kind of busy this weekend and stuff.
I'd figure, man. It's all good. Oh, since you're talking about the podcast in general, so just to explain everybody, it seems like, not seems, but we kind of been on and off with the whole video thing the past couple of weeks. Yeah. So this episode, which, we trying again.
We trying, but I don't want to make any promises because, we'll never know until it ends, until the end, and actually getting into post and doing the editing and trying to make sure everything is popping. Cause
hopefully, this would be caught on camera, but
yeah, hopefully, my phone don't fail me this time, and it works.
And for next year, which we're hopefully going to get actual proper equipment, so we don't have to be relying on what that thing is, a Sony phone.
Yeah. Hopefully we actually have a camera and some that's a little more reliable, so we get consistent quality. I don't have to do all kind of acrobatics to try to get the right angle. Because
we still got to find a proper angle to put it though. I don't think that setup could really work with the camera now. Not
exactly like that, but once a camera is purchased, there will also be like a stand and stuff to go along with it. So
I would hope so, at least.
Positioning and getting the right angles will be easy. I know for those who listening, they can't see the setup and stuff like that, but it is something to witness, to see the actual process.
That means go on YouTube and go look at the setup, then you can actually see what we're talking about.
Yeah, but they can't see where the camera is set up. The camera is recording, so they can't see what it's in to get the angle, to give them the angle. That's what I mean.
That's true.
It's like overwarming my heater for the English people. The heater, it has like a umbrella hanging on it, and then there's a selfie stick stuck inside the umbrella to try to hold up the phone on some kind of weird angle, and then you gotta get it just right so you can't be too aggressive with it when you're trying to operate the phone. But this is the work that I go through for the fans, This is what I do for the listeners.
We squeeze college students. We make things work. But
exactly.
Speaking of the whole, not speaking of the whole podcasting, but getting into the whole, I guess it kind of has to do with the whole podcasting because we just put it out on the internet and it has to do with the internet. King been telling me about this whole net neutrality thing a couple of weeks ago, but now I actually been seeing it really coming up on major sources and stuff like that, and seem to be a big crap that just happened. First of all, you could explain to the people what net neutrality really is. I understand it, but I can't explain it. So I can't understand it properly, but yeah.
From my understanding, net neutrality is, it basically deals with control that certain internet service providers would have over being able to prioritize certain people that pay a certain fee or whatever, because now it's kind of just generally speaking, fair playing field. Everybody gets the same internet more or less, but this would allow it to be that, for example, if YouTube or something has a certain deal with whatever internet provider that there is in the States, they might get faster content or access to a fast lane, so to speak, so that their stuff would be streamed faster versus another competitor streaming site or something like that. No, it legally, it was legislation and stuff that allows for stuff like that to happen legally now. So it just makes so the internet isn't fair. It allows for there to be some bias and stuff like that. Pay for play type of situation is now just free game. and it's just not a good thing for consumers, generally speaking. I mean, I'm sure this is I know this is an oversimplified explanation, and you could probably find more in-depth looks into what exactly net neutrality is. I think I'm not sure, don't quote me on this, John Oliver did a piece on it once. If you don't know, he is a host of Last Week Tonight. Is another show like The Daily Show or Stephen Colbert, or one of those type of talk shows where you go through the news and make jokes about him. But his own is once a week. That's why it's called Last Week Tonight. So he just like a recap, kind of like the LinkUp. Honestly, is like some inspiration there. Look back on the weekend, and he talks about it, make some jokes and different things about it. And he normally does like a deep dive into like one specific topic of like it'll be like the 20-minute segment of the show, just going into. He did one on like gerrymandering, for example, which is just the ability for parties in the States to pick and choose like how they draw the voter maps and things like that to kind of allow create a situation that would be more favorable for them based on like, because it's a whole complicated thing that's not worth going into right now. But I mean, the U.S. political system is like ridiculous in many ways. From the stuff like the gerrymandering and like
all that going over my head. I know nothing you're talking about though.
But yeah,
back to the whole net neutrality thing.
Yeah, but basically, account from what I know is just it was passed with a 2-3 vote. Or no,
3-2.
Yeah, that. It was passed with that much of a vote, and they're now in a position where I think it still has to go through certain courts or whatever, so it's not like completely over. There still is chance for people in the States to go to their Congress people and contact them to try to fight. Although I'm very pessimistic about that working, because to me it's like, if big business people wants to make certain things happen, they're going to make things happen. Like, this favors certain corporations and stuff like that, and the connection between these people and politicians has always been a questionable thing. Not necessarily internet service providers in particular,
just big companies in general.
Yeah,
but then so what it really means? So that mean like companies and things would be able to pay for faster service to give their customers a faster service. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but also allow them to potentially throttle competitors and stuff like that. They're paying for favoritism, kind of the same in how politics works. Like, okay, I'll support your campaign, blah blah blah. Then later down the line, you scratch my back if I need a tax break here or something like that. The same type of concept. It's just now basically the same thing can happen in corporations.
So then, my question is: was the ramifications outside of the US? Like, should we care?
Yes, because YouTube and many of these other things are headquarters on most of so Twitter and Facebook and all of these other things that we regularly use. If you use the internet, Google, whatever, if you use the internet, many of these companies are headquartered or based in the US and stuff like that, and follow US laws, and it could affect us potentially if we're watching stuff on Netflix and.
But then they don't have a European version to everything, or like different regions for certain things. So that wouldn't that just still be like cool, or just because like for instance they have the European version of Netflix, where
it's the same Netflix now. They just got a European office over here, I guess, to.
But then exactly, so they have a European office over here. Wouldn't that mean they have to adhere to the Dutch or the European standards or European rules? So I mean, we don't even if the net neutrality is implemented in the state, that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Not necessarily
Netflix in Europe.
Not necessarily. I'm not a lawyer, so listen. All of what I'm saying is just how I think it works based on. But basically, it's like. If there's not precedent or whatever, they would look to where something like that has happened before. If there's never been a case or they never had to rule in certain situations in Dutch law or whatever, for example, dealing with this new net neutrality stuff, my thing is they're probably going to look to where it has happened. And if there's... I really don't know, honestly, because to me it's like it's a US company. It's a US service that come in here. It's the same...
It's a US service, yeah, but it's not going to be US.
We need people that know more about tech to give these answers, because I
do not have the answer.
Surface knowledge of how computers work and stuff like that, but I mean, they're just
slightly going over my head.
Yeah, they're just going a little far past my expertise and stuff like that, but it could have, from what I've heard from smarter people than myself, say it could affect larger people, it could have a wider effect than just the US because of the fact that all of these companies are US based and stuff like that. The exact explanation as to why, I don't remember, I can't explain properly.
So long story short, it's something that
it's
you
not
should
just a
probably look
problem
up
for
into.
the US. That's the main thing that I know about it. It's not just a US issue, or it's not just going to affect people in the US then.
I've been listening to this for the past like 2-3 weeks, and it still confuses me. So I'm going to leave it up to all you people who are a little bit more.
I ain't been talking about it that much, man.
No, not you. I mean, like in general. Okay, I've been
From different sources.
it's been coming up on my news feeds and stuff like that. And every time I like actually try to click a link, it's like, boy, I don't know if I just don't care enough to actually like have the due diligence to actually sit down and try to understand what it is I'm reading, or it's just like I just choose not to understand. I don't know, but yeah,
I just hope it doesn't necessarily go through because I like my internet the way it is. I mean, I have my complaints and stuff like that, but like generally speaking, I like my internet the way it is. I feel like it don't need to change. I don't see this being a good thing,
but I know it. Yeah. What? One thing I do know about, I had killed myself.
To me, it's not a good idea to put more control, more power in the hands of the very few companies that hold that power. When it comes to internet service providers,
yeah, like, but how much power do they really get control in it? Like what they could do with it? Okay, so cool. You have the power. What they go restrict internet? They gonna make us watch more ads?
Like, I know what they're doing directly, how it directly affecting people in the US and stuff like that. But I mean, again, here, like, I know if it would work the exact same way. But
I guess we just have to wait and see.
That if you, for example, if there's in certain places there's only one internet service provider, similar to how on demand we only got GB, so we just got to deal with whatever nonsense they do. Like in certain places in the States, they only got one internet service provider. Some places two, so you got like a telemuter situations. Ain't much better, but I mean, there's competition if you want to call it that. Anyway, in that situation, maybe that if you live in one of those places where they only got one internet service provider, and they decide that they sign some deal with Netflix, for example. This may be a small inconvenience, but if they sign a deal with Netflix, for example, and you're an Amazon Prime user or something, or Hulu, another streaming service user, it could potentially be that you just screwed now, basically, because they're slowing down all the things like that because they have a deal with Netflix. It's in their benefit to prioritize Netflix things. This is what net neutrality allows. Before it was neutral. Now it allows it so that certain people could get access to like a faster lane, a faster band, like more speed.
It's faster, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's slowing down everybody else. Or is
but what I'm saying is it allows for that as well. The fact that it allows for there to be faster things, it allows for there to be the slower ones. You get priority lanes. That's what it is. That's what it allows for then. It's not saying that, okay, now this has been passed, the internet's changed now instantly. No, it's not like that. But I mean, it sets the framework and stuff in place so that those type of deals can be made. And that's not a good thing for consumers, depending on how far and how many companies get on board and stuff like that. Cause that's just a streaming service example where it's like those are direct competitors and things, but it could be done. I mean, leave it to companies to think of different ways for them to benefit in this situation. Like they'll find some way to be like Google prioritize, like make sure that we only work better and stuff like that. We want Bing, like we'll slow down service on Bing and stuff like that to continue the growth of Google search engine or something like that, for example. Like,
yeah, I guess I could see the possible.
It could keep going. Like you could use that same thing on like from Facebook and the social medias and different things. Like, I don't know. I just feel like they don't need no more power, and this gives them more power in certain ways.
But I don't know. For me, I guess I kind of got...
It's less restriction.
I mean, if you put it that way, I mean...
That's what it is. It is repealing some restrictions and stuff, some regulations that were set in place that stopped them from being able to do these type of things.
That's the thing, but from how I understand, okay, it might be restriction in that order, but ain't no restriction consumer-wise. Because, like, all right, cool. If you want the faster service, you just pay more for the faster service. No?
Yeah, but then it's just you have faster upload speeds or whatever and think those are just different package deals and thing. That's your choice. But it's a different thing when it's like backdoor type of situation. We just got selective, we got favoritism going on, when it's like, you pay for this deal, you should get a service, but still, because I'm using Hulu instead of Netflix, for example, is being slowed down. Let's say you got the fastest internet package from whatever your company it is, and then you still getting slowed down just because of the fact that this company behind closed doors, they got some deal and they paying to get this priority service.
Okay.
Which
I think I overstand
adversely affecting whatever competitor and stuff it is.
Yeah, okay. I see the possible ramifications for that. But I mean, with those kind of situations, you can never really know what's going to pop up until it actually happens. Because we could sit there and speculate. Meanwhile,
yeah, but we like it didn't. Like, I just repeat, while people are a lot smarter than me, and people who in them rooms and conversations and thing and know these people and stuff like that, been saying this is what their fears are with this type of legislation. So it's not like they pulling this out of thin air type of thing. I mean,
but I mean, and I ain't say it ain't possible, but these are just,
and this is something that, like, this type of legislation they had. I remember on one of Absol's album, he had a song titled after the acronym that was one of the bills that it was trying to pass, that was like from years ago. That was a 2012 album or 2013 album, Control System from Absol. It was called SOPA because SOPA was another one of the acts that it was trying to use. I don't remember what the acronym stands for right now, but they had that SOPA, they had CISPA, they had a few different acronyms and stuff that was basically net neutrality bills they was trying to kill net neutrality for some years now. This isn't a new thing that happening now. It's just now they're finally getting through to pass it and stuff. And now they're actually passing, making mainstream news, because they never want to talk about it. They never want to
they don't
put
want
it too much out there in
yeah.
mainstream. Because the same way how you hear confused and don't necessarily what exactly this, that's what the people who benefit from these things want. They benefit from the fact that the masses or a lot of the population
so because they're confusing, but I don't care.
I don't even know what is happening,
vote.
so I can't. If you don't even know something is happening, I can't fight. Because I'll tell you, it was going on from since then. And still a lot of people don't know about it, and they keep changing the names to try to fool people. That's why they had they had the SOPA, then they had CISPA, then they had different names because they was trying to mask it as like different bills with the same legislation still in there to try to get it passed. These people want what they like. If they want some shit done, they're going to get it done.
But
it doesn't matter what the will of the people is to some degree, because
that's what I was saying. It don't make sense for man to sit here and speculate and be like, "Why this is possible?" Okay, cool, yeah, it's possible, but we ain't gonna know what will happen until it actually passed and the companies start doing the thing, because it could either be it happened what people speculate, or it could be something completely different that we didn't even end up thinking about yet.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's like, is tense that they pass it, but now that the bill passed, we just gotta wait and see what's next, because that gonna just end up giving man a whole another set of stress that don't need.
I agree. I concur.
But with the whole talking about internet now, you see how the internet went in on that. Oh God, I was gonna call the boy retarded. Excuse my language. On the special boy who
so
was
insensitive and that special boy.
Sorry, no, is I trying to
yes,
the
Keaton character.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, they have this let me just keep calling him special.
Special is a lot better than what he was going to call. He always call him off. Yeah, it's a lot better.
They have this special kid that was being bullied down South America.
A kid with disabilities.
I ain't see him crippled. He just anyway.
Yeah, it's a disability. It goes beyond just being crippled. You don't need a broken leg or something to be disabled or whatever. It could be a mental disability.
I had like 16 different trips. I just had that in my head.
I going through sensitivity training live on the air.
But I try not to let them go by. But anyway,
I'm trying to help you be politically correct, offend less people in life.
I really refrained from saying what I want to say. But anyway,
speak your mind now.
No boy. This little boy was being bullied in school and stuff like that, and then like for some reason his mother find that when he crying and about it, that it was a good idea to record her son. From
what I've seen, the reports that I've read and stuff like that, he requested her to record it because he wanted to make some tell some message or something like that.
I didn't see nothing about that, but okay,
that was the story.
Maybe it's possible, but anyway, she made the recording of her son asking people, like asking his mother why bullying is why people bully and
whatnot.
It was all touching and sad and all
in his feelings.
Yeah, all that hippie vibe.
Saying like, I want you for those out there, I want you to be strong and whatnot. For those who have not seen the video yet,
it was all positive and uplifting and whatnot, especially from a special fella. But So yeah, so that's one part of the story. So now a couple of days after that, so that video went viral. Like a whole bunch of celebrities been checking up on it.
To show support. And
yeah,
whatnot.
show support. Want fly this man out here, fly him out there, giving money. Apparently, somebody made a GoFundMe page in the family name. Not necessarily they make it, but it was somebody else for them, and that was a whole something. People was donating money. They must get like 60. I see something about like 60K get raised for the child and stuff like that. I don't know what necessarily he's gonna do with the money, but or why they necessarily in the city give it to a special fund charity or something like that. But what they gonna give it to him? But anyway, so all that happened. Come to find out now, going more deep into the mother and the father. The father in jail for assault. Okay. Reportedly, the father in jail. Allegedly.
Yes.
The father in jail for assault, something like that, and he had.
Or
he
is it
used
fact?
to,
If he's in jail, I mean, if it's confirmed, then it's like, then he's in jail.
no, but no. When I say reportedly, I mean I don't know. I don't really remember what he in jail for.
Okay.
So he in jail, but I think it's for assault or something like that. But it seems like the father used to be like always using racial slurs and have tattoos saying like white power and white supremacy,
so
and all that kind of thing.
Affiliation to neo-Nazis or white supremacy groups.
Yeah,
and
that
stuff.
kind of thing. And it's like the mother was have a Facebook picture of me, a picture on Facebook with like the Confederate flag and the family with the Confederate flag. So everybody know. First it was all like love and he's so inspiring and
there's a lot of people sending support.
He was a hero. Everybody from Rihanna to sports people and things like that. Now everybody calling them a racist and all of that. So that's practically the story in a nutshell. What you find about it though, King?
It's gonna sound heartless, but I have no sympathy for this guy. There's like bullying is messed up, but I feel like to me bullying is messed up. We can all agree on that. Bullying is nothing new. Like this particular child making a sobbing video and stuff isn't going to change bullying and stuff like that, however pessimistic and like it might sound. But I'm sure we've all been bullied in some way. It may not be because we had a disability or whatever, but I know at least I was bullied and stuff like that.
I was bullied
like,
too.
At some point, it's children is terrible. Like these are the facts.
Yeah.
Children are a bunch of people that they're uninhibited. They have not been taught how to behave in society and what is right and wrong.
But not all,
they just
but
say
not
what's
all
on their
children.
mind.
That's the whole thing. Is that all children? Is that it's just one little bastard that starts up the whole
If you
crew.
go into a school, you're going to encounter somebody that has not had the same type of parent that didn't come from the same background. The parents didn't raise them the same way, teach them basic right from wrong and stuff like that. And he gonna be calling people like making people life hard basically, and that's just the way it's going. Like, yes, we can talk to our children and preach them, teach them not to bully and all of these things, but
I feel what you say.
It's a sad situation, but I mean, such is life.
But at the same time,
and
I was
worse.
thinking, boy, if that had to be a little Caribbean child, right, or somebody who grew up from St. Martin, we wouldn't give a damn, no.
Thank you. There wouldn't be this massive outpouring of money. He didn't even ask for money. Nothing wrong. Physically wrong. He need no doctor. He need to go to the doctor.
But that's the thing. What are you giving money for?
This money just outpouring and stuff.
I understand if you want to fly him out. You know,
that's an experience. That's something that could possibly uplift him in something. But
I mean, let's be real now. They just want to fly him out so they could take pictures of the bar.
Good publicity for them, yeah. And
so let's get that out of the way. So then, apart from that, now is that okay? Cool. Bullying is wrong in general.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that.
But at the same time, I find it kind of builds character. Like I don't. But I guess they got different levels to it. I mean, you gonna know how to defend yourself or how to.
But think about it. The only reason we need to learn and develop these needs to defend ourselves and learn to react with these things is because of people like that. If you had a situation where it's like nobody wasn't bullying and stuff,
but that could never. But exactly, that's unrealistic. That could never happen.
Listen, I feel like it's a similar thing. It's I don't know.
It's unrealistic. The amount is like what 6-7 billion people, even more in the world. It's impossible. Not at least what 10% is assholes.
I know what I just stated, and it was basically on the same vein of thinking as what you were saying, what you were just saying. But do you feel, what is then the appropriate approach to take? Then do you feel as though because bullying is what it is, and it's probably always going to exist and persist and be a thing in this world, do you then just be like, if you're raising a child, or does your stance on bullying then just be, we kind of just give up and we don't do nothing about it, we don't talk about it, it's just going to be? Or
no, it's the same thing. Like
I feel like racism is another thing that I would be like, okay, racism and bullying, I feel like it's a similar thing. Honestly, I'm very pessimistic in the sense of racism ever completely going away, or at least anytime soon. I feel like maybe that's just me wanting to be naive and optimistic and stuff, but I feel it can eventually be eradicated if enough people are educated and stuff like that. But I feel like there's way too many people on this earth to ensure that everybody goes through the same type of education, so we could basically, that's basically what education is supposed to be. For example, if I was having this conversation with somebody, if there's debates over what is real, for example, it's a ridiculous something that you always hear about it in rap songs and stuff like that. This one's real, or you're not real, and this that. I thought you was real, but then blah blah, those type of things. It's like the only reason these things can persist is because obviously we have different definitions of real. If we all had the same definition of real, if we truly all understood what real meant, or if real really meant the same thing to everybody, it would never be a situation where you could be like, you thought this person was real or whatever, but like a lot of them wouldn't necessarily, a lot of those discussions wouldn't exist. Then I feel like school, for example, is what is there supposed to be to teach us facts, like where definitions, facts are supposed to be the things that kind of end debate or end argument and stuff like that. You go to a fact because a fact just is, there's no changing what it is, like. But if everybody doesn't learn the facts and stuff like that, then you have a bunch of people all over the world and think playing on different levels and think don't have the same amount of information, the same tools and things like that. Don't know the same words, don't know the same things.
But I don't necessarily think that education will be the reason why racism would finish, or would start to at least stop. I think it would be the fact that more people gonna be mixing, so there ain't gonna be no pure race anymore. So that's what really separating that's a separating factor in the racism. It's like, yeah, you different from me, because you are different color than me, or because you're this ethnicity than me, I'm not going to fuck with you.
But then when you get to, for example, we all come out of Africa, no matter how you want cut it, split it, slice it, white scientists, black scientists, we all agreed that Africa was the origin of man. We all came out of there and migrated and developed and evolved. We all one human race and things like that. Why is it that racism isn't done? Because everybody doesn't agree to that fact. Everybody doesn't know that fact. That's at least my thought. Because we all know that, but still we here playing these games about race and things, white versus black and all these things, when we all truly one human race. If everybody really understood that we was human race and believed that, and because those are the facts, dog.
Yeah, but you see that's the thing. Once you could say that as a fact, okay, cool, but there's still a physical difference between the races. And when I mean physical, I don't necessarily mean by like attributes or stuff like that. I mean like skin color. Like you can clearly see there's a white man, you can clearly see there's a black man. But then the only way that going to go is if you cannot see that physical difference. And the only way that going to be is because more people gonna be into what's the word?
I don't know about that.
What's the word that it
in an interracial relationship?
Yeah, like, they more into like they're not sticking only white only white people gonna be white people, only black people gonna be black people. This 21st century we mixing more than anything now. So eventually they gonna be only hybrid people. It ain't gonna be one pure race. Or you only from here, or you only from there. No, your mother from here, your father from there. Or like your mother is two things and your father is two things. So it ain't gonna be no pure race no more. I think that's the only way racism would actually be eradicated, because there's nothing to be hate no more. Because you and me is the same thing now. both of us are not purebred.
Yeah, but like I hear what you're saying. I agree to.
But I guess that's just that's just me personally.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree to some extent. But I feel as though then it would just evolve basically. Like it wouldn't be racism, but we'll find other ways to divide themselves because
for sure.
Like, I mean, even currently, like white people among white people, black people among black people.
I was just going to say we
still divided and we still got things to argue and fight about and stuff like that.
But I don't know. To me, I mean, okay, again, state.
But then we get way off.
I was just
gonna
say,
do you give up? Do you then just
that I was gonna say.
You don't feel like it might.
It goes to my thought about it is the same. Is kind of the same process as the whole black man, black young fella and police thing. There's no way around it. It's going to happen, but you could learn, or you could
encounter with the police as a black man.
Yeah, it's going to happen, and the fact, and there's even more chance of possibility than not that the police officer going to be racist or not necessarily racist, but going to judge you based on you being black. So if that's going to happen anyway, there are certain things I feel that we as black people, I mean I have, but we as a community or set of black people in general could do to not prevent it, but to make that encounter less threatening, or try to make themselves less threatening. So to me, it's the same thing with bullying. Like, it's not going to go away, but if you do encounter it, you should be taught on how to deal with the situation, because you're not going to avoid it. To me, that's just like running away from your problems. Like, it's going to happen regardless. Why be, we should change this and we gotta teach this. Yeah, we gotta granted, we gotta teach our kids more to be nicer and stuff like that. Maybe introduce different programs. I was seeing some people have some ideas like introducing medication. Introducing meditation into the school curriculum and stuff like that. I'm like, stuff like that might help. You know, but to just say like, we just need to completely like don't teach the children to defend themselves or stuff like that, or completely disregard the fact that it's going to happen anyway, and we just got to teach our children to either not at the same time not be assholes, but at the same time to pick up for yourself, because not everybody going to go off of what they taught. Just because they taught in school, you have to be kind to others and all that kind of hippie crap, don't mean that they're gonna practice outside. Like, we realize some people are just dicks, regardless of environment and stuff like that. That's just the nature of some people. Maybe that's just me.
And that's another very debatable thing, like going into psychology and then
nature versus nurture.
Are people inherently bad and stuff like that? That's like what serial killers, that serious mind hunter and shit we're trying to go into, like. That's a whole nother debate there, whether people just bad. I don't know about that. Maybe they probably just being abused home, and that's why they come to school and being a bully, and like they just.
But I mean, everybody got their own circumstances. But I mean, regardless of the circumstances or whatever, who doing the reasons what they're doing it for, it's still happening. So the bullying's still going on, and there's no way you as a child going to change that. As a parent, you have to be. That's a difficult situation as well, because if you step in too much, you're not only embarrassing the child in front of his or her peers, but you also, I find, you taking away the child's experiences.
So, what is your advice to your child? Your child is being bullied. Your child come home, tell you like, Daddy, so-and-so was picking on me, I was getting bullied by so-and-so. What do you tell your child? What is the appropriate response? Realistically, me being kind of by, what you can tell your child?
I'm gonna have to ask some questions and be like, all right, what you do? I gotta make sure, like one thing my mother always tell me, and it always stick with me, even though I never really upheld to it 100%. But my mother used to always tell me, I could never defend you if you lied to me, or I could never help you if you lied to me. So my whole thing is, I was like, all right, cool. What you do now? Let me see what you had to play, if you had any part to play in the situation, and then I could deal with you, because that means I can't fix nobody else's child, but I could help you. I could coach you. I could see,
so
I could help you with
your child then.
Yeah. Well, it's real, dog. Is you
the child a victim in the situation?
My child have to realize,
what did you do wrong to bring bullying upon you.
My child going to learn that
when I just tell you about
in certain situations you have to have responsibility. So I'm just going to ask the question. I ain't going to blame them once. I was ask, did you do anything? And then if they say no, I'm like, all right, cool. So what did the person do? So I have to ask what kind of bullying it is, because that depends on the situation too. It could just be like they're harassing them in class, or maybe they actually like
they stuff them in a locker.
By
some like typical white people TV, like
stuff them. If you see, that's why I ask it, because like verbally is a different way to handle that. If they're getting stuffed in a locker, is a different way to handle that. If you're getting your head pushed in the toilet, there's a different way to handle that. You know, if you're getting wedgied and them kind of ones, there's a different way to handle that.
Does it come to retaliation? Do you tell like, are you going to go to school and talk to the people, find out who, like,
but
because that is solving the child problem? Like,
I think the only way I would intervene personally, when I mean personally, as in like physically show up to the school, is if my when my child get called to the office. Because me being me again, I would be like, all right, so if this is a continuous something, so if you keep whether that's, we see again, that's why I have to ask what happening. So if he or she getting physically bullied, then I'll be like, yo, you have to fight back. Because it is not to say that you're causing trouble or nothing like that. So if it's all about the other child and all about the other child harassing my child, then I'm like, yo, you have to defend yourself. And they still getting their ass cut. I'm like, yo, you got no friends?
Yo, I feel bad for your child and I. It's like, yo, daddy, are you suffering and shit? Like,
no, but we tried
I'm trying to tell you about my woes.
No, but we tried to solve the problem. And I'll be like, all right, cool. What you feel about learning to fight? You see, for me, it all depends about the age too, Jared. Because if I can't tell a 9-year-old, come, let me teach you how to box, and you go here and cut your child's ass.
Nah, but even was no, if it's a situation he just can't win the fight because this like.
Could have
in 4th grade, there's a 6th grader picking on him or something.
But you see, again, that's where the friend question come in. Like, you got no friends, or you got to gang this man. If all you gotta do is musketeer thing, all for one, fine. You know, that's when you teach your children life lessons. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So find somebody else that this man fucking with and team up with them. And now you find some way to get back at this man. Cause you can't continue to let somebody rule your life like that, Jared.
No, different question. You personally, since you say you admit that you was bullied as well growing up. How do you respond in those situations?
But I was a little, but okay, because it's our podcast. Excuse my French. I was a little bitch, but
didn't fight back.
But I know, Jed.
Okay.
And you know what the funny thing is? They had a situation where the bully called.
Did you ever tell your parents?
Yo, yeah. My sister wanted to roll up in the school and fight 4th graders, Jed. Wow. And I had a situation.
I never tell my mother about none.
No, but I tell me and my mother is usually close, so I tell my mother. But I had a situation where I was getting choked, and so one of the fellas had me like in a chokehold, so like lift me off the ground and thing. It was a white boy that saved me. I
thought you were going to say it's a white boy that was bullying.
No, it was a Dutch white boy that saved me. And it was a black fella, it was a black local that was bullying me. The man could just come from behind him and kick him in the nuts.
So you just painting stereotypes. Why you gotta be the black people being so violent again?
No, but usually the white people, in a lot of states, the white people that be taking. So the bullying don't really got race. But anyway, I just say it's ironic that a white person who saved me because it was a Dutch white person, and we all know how I feel about the Dutch in certain perspective. But me and he had beef too, actually. The same white boy. But that's the thing. Me personally, that's why I would tell my children to defend yourself, because I was bullied like that because I never used to stick up for myself. I was a whole passive one, like, oh yeah, I just used to take it.
Yeah,
and things like that.
My situation is kind of similar. So,
and come to a point, my sister wanted to come in and fight things. Yo, I used to even get bullied by girls, Jad. That's the truth. One of my closest friends, somebody who's like my sister, God bless, rested dead, Noor. Noor used to harass me. Yo, why me harass me, dog? I mean, like, this girl had even make me go home and cry a couple times now. No.
Not cause she like you, man. Now what did they say? When children harass you constantly, like pestering you and things, because they don't know how to tell you that, they don't know how to acknowledge that they like you, they don't know what to do with their feelings, but they want your attention in some way.
It's funny because my first date was actually Nora as well.
See, all lined up.
People don't understand how much. Anyway, that's a whole different something, but that's why I would tell my children to defend themselves, because I know how miserable I was, and I know if I had stick up for myself, it would have been a different something. You check?
Yeah, but that depends though. Because
But
then it could
again,
literally
you see,
be
again,
like
it depends on the situation
TV
as
put
well.
this romantic idea that the nerd stands up to the bully and he finally fights back, and then he's triumphant and he's praised and stuff. But that could simply go terribly wrong ways. Like you decide to stand up for yourself, and it's like you're a lot weaker, smaller than the person bullying you. That's usually why you're being bullied, because it's like you look like an easy target compared to the person bullying you.
You see, that's another thing I have to prepare for as well, because I don't want my child to grow up alone. You check? I want my child to have some kind of siblings. I don't want the siblings to be too far apart either. Because if I have to say, because if one gets their ass cut, when they come home, both of them get their ass cut. Like, why you leave your brother or your sister get her ass cut by yourself and you do nothing?
I understand.
You check? And the man supposed to be running as a unit. Or he's a squad. You check? So unless both of you get their ass cut, I ain't want nobody coming home with only one black eye. Both of you gotta be beaten, or both of you gotta be cool.
You sound like LeVar Ball, man. He was there upon the Breakfast Club the other day.
Oh, I didn't even get to watch that episode.
Yeah, and he was there saying the same thing about that, how you raise your kids. Like, yo, if somebody kidnapped LaMelo, it's like, but how do you mean you coming back to tell me? It's like, why you not in the van with him? It's like, y'all guys, you can't kidnap three people. It's not as easy to kidnap three kids at the same time type of vibe.
No,
like,
so it's like,
don't call me. It's like, I can't do nothing. And at that time, he done gone.
With that, I would expect whoever older to handle the situation for the younger one, you check? So that's why I would want my kids like that. But I mean, at the same time too,
sound like a cop would be like, you know what, I can have the kids so I don't have to parent. I'll just handle that. I don't have to intervene and parent and stuff.
No matter whether it's girl or boy, both whatever I choose to get in life, my children going to be in some kind of martial arts. I don't care if they don't like it. Even if it's not necessarily something mainstream, it's at least a self-defense something. Whether it's
they gonna learn capoeira.
Whether they go, it's practical, dog. Whether let's be real now.
Train shit at all our listeners who practice capoeira. No, how they gonna feel?
No, it's a very good martial art, but for self-defense, it's not really practical unless
it's good exercise and it's entertaining.
If you've been unless you really dive into it. It's the same like, look, Aikido. I love Aikido, but I practice Aikido as well. But unless you actually do that for years, you know how difficult that thing is. Same thing with capoeira. But either way, my children going to be in some kind of self-defense something. Whether it's they going into classes or it's me cutting their ass every day until they learn to fight back.
That remind me of that superhero movie. I can't remember the name of it, but it was Nicolas Cage, I believe, was in it, and he had his daughter, and then it wasn't Kick-Ass. I think it was Kick-Ass 2 or something like that. You know the movie Kick-Ass?
The one with like
it was
the
a ridiculously
well, they had one with Daddy and the one is
that's that type of situation. She trained in all kind of she been shooting guns and knowing how to work with knives.
Oh God, especially if I have my daughter would be more dangerous than my son. I just feel that I don't know, but for girls,
transition into the other topic you had in mind, talking about how you can raise a daughter. Yeah, you can raise your children and stuff like that.
But it's I don't know,
and I feel like we still didn't probably touch on one particular aspect of this Keaton story and things like that. That's all. That's how we are. But I mean,
what you want to talk? I mean, touch on.
It had one thing and I just had it there and I lost it. Rough.
About what, the father, the mother?
Yeah, because like we were talking a little bit before, off air and thing about it, and we were saying like with how they had the rumors or whatever about the N-word being used and things like that, and then the pictures and all of these things, looking at the upbringing that the child was in is like, I mean,
okay, we say it's a rumor. Let's be clear about this. It's a rumor that Keaton had said the N-word, and that's why he was being bullied. Now, while we do have to take into consideration, is a rumor.
And also, you was talking about how the need to separate the parents from thing, and that's like, I don't necessarily agree with that, because exactly what you there saying about the upbringing of the child, and it's like, if this is what a parents on and stuff with the Confederacy-ness and them embracing that how much it is, and then the father got his questionable record, and
I a little torn about that, because it is true the environment does have a role to play, and if it is true that they are like, the father is a whole white supremacy thing, and that the mother does even to say to put up pictures like that, or comfortable to put up pictures like that with the Confederate flag and stuff like that, that means it's comfortable in the household as well. So if the father and the mother display those kind of things, I'm sure the word Negro has been thrown, or nigger has been thrown around inside the house. So I would not be surprised if Keaton actually did call somebody that, just because of the environment that he's potentially could have been around. But why I say you still have to separate him from the family is because still the fact that bullying is wrong regardless. So I still find that you should take that away from it. But even with that being said, if he did indeed call somebody a nigger and was bullied because of that, he deserved that. I'm sorry. I am completely sorry. But I, like you had said before, I not
because that was my thing. I saw that, and I'm like, yes, it's a rumor. Like you say, it's a rumor. It's unconfirmed. We don't know that he actually said the N-word and thing like that. But I don't know that he was actually bullied. All I saw was this dude crying. Like, if you really want to be dicks about this situation, honestly, if you really want to be a dick about the situation, there's been multiple times. Like, you seen heated debates, arguments going on. You could clearly see this cop unjustly shoot down somebody, and you seen heated arguments. Like, no, he was running towards him. He feared for his life. This, that. Like,
even clear evidence is debatable.
And I'm like, but I didn't see nobody. But all I saw was you saying that you were bullied. Apparently, there was some reports from the principal, I think, like that as well. So I mean. But
to back up the story, I think only to back up the story after. But still, the video went viral before people actually start looking into it. And like we had said before, not only if it was I have a strong feeling if it was a black person, or like we was putting an example, if that was a child from St. Martin, nobody would give a damn. Nobody would give. Maybe it might go around 200 people, maybe. Maybe
you be generous. I know.
Nah, man, because it's messed up in general. Bullying is, like we said again, bullying is messed up in general. There's a lot of context we have to know.
I feel like the environment that we grow up in and stuff like that, we trivialize bullying and stuff like that on St. Martin, generally speaking. Like, for example, every time I'm watching certain shows or whatever, shows about high school and stuff, and when you're growing up and you're seeing what a US high school look like, I'm like, yo, why is this happening? This person would have like the mean girl type of situation. I'm like, this person would have get wrecked a long time. But you know this was St. Martin. None of this stuff, this talking, going in people, tormenting people this long, things like that don't work like that on St. Martin.
I feel you, and
somebody would have get wrecked long time.
But we have to remember now. You have to remember too. I used to have those sentiments as well, watching them kind of shows.
Verbal abuse, like if you're just getting verbally picked
we have to remember St. Martin is like rules, but at the same time we both know there's no rules to a certain degree. So you can mash somebody up down the road, go home, chill out, and not have to worry about police. In the States now, you mash somebody up, they at least got 500 eyewitnesses. Police gonna come for you. It's a lot more serious up there.
I understand that. But I'm just saying.
But you know, I get
the environment we grew up in. To me, that's what kind of if it's just people calling you like mean things or whatever, it's like, come on.
But you see,
nobody push you, nobody hit you, do nothing, say something back.
That's the thing as well. It's all about how you choose to raise your children. Yo, unless you physically, you know, now that I'm thinking about this before I say it, I feel sorry for my children too now. But I can still say this anyway. There's no way my children going to be able to get verbally abused. There's no way. Why? Because I go to trip on my children at home all the time. There's going to be nothing no little child could say to my what?
You think so?
Okay, yeah, okay, maybe.
Yo,
maybe.
The
Because
most
I ain't gonna be that much of a dick to
nonsensical
actually
things-
hurt my child feelings.
Listen, the most nonsensical things children just think to come up with to call people, and it don't matter if it's accurate or not, but just the amount of that they call you and pointing and laughing, you gonna feel it. Like, they could be the most ridiculous nonsense.
Okay, while
one's a name stick.
That may be true, but at the same time, I hope I
was
would
Gary the Snail for I don't know how long.
Yo, I was Harry Potter, I was Microphone, I was Shrimpy, I had a whole bunch of different names, but
primary school it was Patchy. But yeah, kind of like I'll tell the story, you know, this was some kindergarten or whatever. Like, I'd slip and fall in juice. Like, we were playing catching or something like that. And somebody had juice on the spill, some juice on the floor. I slip, fall, like, the back of my head hit the floor. And, like, ever since then, I got, like, a patch in my head that the hair just don't grow there.
Call you Patchy.
Yeah, that. Like, nonsense. Children is terrible. And I put that out there in public, so I show something, that nickname will come back somewhere. Somebody gonna call me that.
I never had a nickname like that. I do some real stupid moves going to school, like, especially in middle school. Cause, you know, back in, I think this is what,
middle school. Sounds so American.
But I don't know it as what friggin' I call first form.
Primary school and high school, like, there was, for me,
okay, well, first form and second form technically is like middle school.
To me, there was Hillside and there was MPC.
There's
primary school and high school. That's it.
Okay, well, excuse me for growing up in fucking American system. Shit.
They just like to make shit complicated about feet.
But what?
Feet and inches. What was wrong with meters like everybody else? Everybody else in the world on the
don't
metric
know.
system.
Yo, look, right. I don't know shit in meters and
inches and yards and ounces and
yeah, that's what I know. Anyway, can't remember the story I was gonna say. Oh, I think I was in like what, 4th grade. So this wasn't even middle school. This is still primary school practice. I think 4th, 5th grade. Back then, like my sister them age group it was popular to have like the lines of your eyebrows and them kind of want to check. So I was like, yeah, but I want that too. But I want to tell nobody that I want it. I want to do it myself. So it just show up, you know, like I
surprise type
yeah, like you know, like I do it myself. Like I automatically suave, you check. But I'm now Sean in the mirror now in the bathroom going to try to put the lines in. I don't know why I went with the whole shaver. So instead of putting a line, I take out the whole friggin' take. My mother was so upset she laughed at me for weeks. My sister died laughing. Because the thing is, I tried to compensate it. So because I cut off the other one, I tried to do it with the other side as well, but make it even bigger.
Nah, but you deserve to be laughed. In a situation like that, you deserve to be laughed at, because that's a harmless situation that you did to yourself. You wasn't in no physical danger in no way. You were completely safe. You deserve to be laughed at for that.
But yeah,
I mean, there was a time, for example, like,
I ain't even gonna lie.
People who know me from high school probably could confirm this story, but there was a time during gym class, for some reason, we were doing track. We was on the track down Jose Lake. And we was running, sprinting.
Jose Lake?
No, that was Lake. Yeah, that one.
I was like, what?
Yeah, that one, I mean, my bad. But it's been a while. But anyway, like,
down there.
At the end of the sprinting thing, I don't know, for some reason, adrenaline kicking and thing, you know, your body hot and thing, you feel like, for some reason, I felt like, you know, I could do a backflip. So, so I proceed to, you know, do the cartwheel thing to then go to flip backwards and whatnot. And then, like, I jump and I just kind of, like, halfway through, I just decided, like, yo, I don't think I can make this. And it was like, I just jump and fall flat on my back. And it was like, I couldn't hate on nobody but myself. I'm the one who decided, you know what, I think I am ready to do this backflip.
Oh, you bail out mid-air.
I don't know. I just started out to myself. I was like, I don't know. Like, this is something they do on the beach, like in the water, in a safe environment. Like, I don't know if I got this
that rough,
completely down packed like that, and I failed. And I failed miserably.
As soon as you doubt yourself, though, if you're just like, yeah, I could do
if
this.
I commit to it and believe, maybe I would have landed. But I was like, nah, I never did this like that.
Yo, I got some other stupid stories too. But you know, I think
We get completely off track of what we're supposed to talk about today.
Again.
I don't know why this happened.
But we had some good. I find we had an interesting conversation.
Yeah, man. Entertaining
with the whole kids thing. I still stand by what I say. And I going to be tripping on my kids and making fun. Yo, I gonna be a real harassing father now. Like I gonna be one of those fathers that like come pick up your child and like the box all the judge. No, that might be a little wrong. But like the bathrobe and stuff like that. Just to embarrass your child. And it's like so.
But why? Why is that necessary?
That gonna, instead of beating them, that gonna be their punishment. Like, oh, okay, cool. You want this the curfew? I'll embarrass you for the whole month.
Question: what do you think about the public humiliation type of situation I see, for example, where whatever, regardless of whatever the punishment is, that is being filmed and put online type of vibe? Because to me, it's like
it depends on the punishment. So like, if it's shaving your head. Okay, cool. Especially if you know your son love your hair and the sixth time care of your hair and all that kind of thing.
So then you're gonna take a video of that, put it on Twitter, on Facebook.
I would do that. But like to say beating or like embarrassing to the point where like I don't know. It really depends on your child, because I find in this day and age and
so if your child crying and bawling thing while you shaving your head and whatnot and thing,
no, but I mean you
see how much it affect them and whatnot. You can feel like, okay, after this initial thing of shaving the head is done, I still need to then go and put it online to increase that pain, that feeling of humiliation.
It depends on the child. It depends on the child. You gotta know your child, because if you got, cause what I was saying before is a day and age where other children soft, child. And it's not necessarily their fault either, because it is either they grow up that way or they was baby that way all the time. You check? So it's like you don't know how much that might actually affect them. And especially with things where like people could take in their own life just because of comments on social media and stuff like that. You don't want your child to have to feel or want your child to hate you to that extent. You check? So it's like you have to know your child and you have to know how far to take it. And what if the punishment actually fits the crime?
I mean, there's a lot of things that as a parent you could be like, okay, you know, this ain't that bad or whatever, you know. But for the child, it's like, I'm sure you can recall, it might be a little hard to look back and remember exactly how you feel as a child in certain moments, but now thinking with adult brain. But like, when you only live up until 8, for example, you weren't thinking about, okay, what's going to happen when I'm 10 or like whatever it was that was tragic. If you didn't get this game or whatever and thing like that, you
that's the worst thing. That's the worst thing going on.
You don't know nothing else. It's like, that's why in those situations, it's sometimes difficult to gauge, because as an adult, you won't be like, yo, I just shaved the child head, put it on video. It's not that big. But then it's like, he goes to school the next day and he ENTs and things like that. And this is like the worst. I never felt like this in my life or something.
But that's the thing. You have to know your child as well. You have to know your child. You have to know how far to take it. You have to know. Yo, you really, I think people, not some people, but like when they get a child, I find some parents don't be involved. Not to say not involved enough, but not involved in the right way, Chad. So like when like if my daughter have to be coming home and telling me about who kissing who in what class and who doing what with what, all that girl gossip, I ain't paying attention now. I paying attention because then I knowing what going on, what my daughter doing, who she around, what kind of things I have to like be. So if I have to hear her talking about Cindy who's sleeping with this one and sleeping with that one and sleeping thing, all of a sudden she'd come telling me, oh yeah, Cindy having a sleepover, can I go? Hell fucking no. You got to pay.
Cindy's the problem.
Yeah, you have to. And when you look, she go over. When you look, because I'm not paying attention, and she go over by Cindy. Some shit happened that because she not experienced, she don't know about, she don't know the signs and stuff like that, and she end up being traumatized for life. Fuck that, Jad. I mean, excuse my language. Mess. I ain't thinking that at all. I going to be the one of them fathers that paying attention. Like, oh yeah, really? So what happened next? So what happened this time? What going on this week? Nah, I go be involved in my children's life, boy. Screw that. Nah, none of that. Oh yeah, I don't know what my child doing now, boy. Because I know how I was, and I know how my other mischievous friends was. Nah.
And that was going to be my thing. Like, how successful do you really feel you can be at that? Because I mean, ask anybody from the hood. Like, everybody know my mother, and like people that went to my primary school, they can all tell you they know what Gary's mother looked like because she used to be in the school and things like that. It's like my mother was arguably a lot more involved than a lot of other people's mother and stuff. Kind of like while we out on ridiculous flexes, my mother's the riot on how a whole bunch of people getting home and things
My
like
mother
that.
too.
So it's like,
But you see that.
and still, and this is what I'm trying to say. That like my mother tried to be involved, but the type of child I was, it was like, I saw the way my mother interacted, or the way my mother would react with certain things, and that resulted in me just being a super secretive person. Like my mother didn't know nothing. I never used to tell my mother nothing. If she find out certain things or whatever, she find out. But I ain't telling her nothing.
It was like that with my mother too, but at the same time, I felt a lot more comfortable going to my mother with things because she knew everything.
I can understand that.
You check? So that's why I was like, boy, yo, mama. So I remember it was a whole big deal where I had uninvite one of my partners to my birthday party. That was a whole big something. But because my mother had already know how I had feel about the partner, what was going on in the class and why I had uninvited him, she had my back, you check? So like stuff like that and stuff like that I had really keep with me. So that's why I'd always have a close thing with my mother. So that's why regardless, no, I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I understand exactly what you mean, because I still had stuff I had keep away from my mother as well. But I had see that she always had an interest in my life, you check? So that had give me a better feeling. Yeah, my mother had really loved me. So when I used to do dumb shit, and I realized I do dumb shit, I used to feel even worse. I'm like, well, yo, I know my mother would be vexed if I was doing this, or it made me feel extra guilty. So that does make a thing, and does make me not want to do it again, or make me not want to be in a situation like that again, because I don't want to disappoint my mother. And that is the result of her being so close in my life. If it was anybody else, I'd be like, yo, I don't give a fuck what your opinion is, or I don't give a damn what you think about me, you check? But because of that, I feel like that's why I used to feel bad. And not even with that aspect, even if, like what you were saying before, how far can it go? Even if you're that much involved in your child's life, you have to remember at the same time it is your child's life. They're going to have things that they're not going to tell you. But you have to, you have a parent, have to be open enough to a point that if your child have a problem, or they have to be able to be comfortable enough to come to you. Because at the end of the day, that's your child. Whatever problem they have, you want to be able to help them. You don't want them to be suffering. You don't want them to be miserable or sad or whatever the case is. So you have to know that they're going to keep shit from you, but at the same time, you have to be able to be open that when they do come to you with stuff, that you don't go and chase them away one time, because then they're gonna never trust you again, or you will never have that relationship. You check?
Honestly, I hearing a lot of things that sounding like proper parenting advice. Like if you're going to go into this, but I'm just curious to see how things go when the child actually comes. Not saying you got them on the way or nothing, but I mean, when it gets time for that,
it's always but let me put it this way: that's the type of parent I would want to be.
I mean,
how the situations actually plan out is something different, but that's the type of parent I would aspire to be. And I find my mother do a good job. I find my father do a good job as well. So I ain't been in jail. I ain't doing trafficking drugs and women. I mean, I go in school. I find I'm reasonably intellectual. So I mean, they
did an okay job. Is what you're saying.
They do well. Anything else that happened bad is literally my fault.
True.
The only thing I blame my mother for is not teaching me languages. But yeah, other than that, you couldn't. I mean, my mother know like 7 different languages. I know 1.5. I mean, I know 1 language and a half or 2. So maybe I can say 2.
I feel it.
So is yeah, that's the only thing. But other than that, I find they do a thing. I mean, as good as they could have been, and as well, having an older brother and sister did help as well. I mean, I was teased by them as well. So I find all of that shape me to a certain extent. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. That's something to look forward for in the future.
The child and how you gonna raise them.
I could wait, but at the same time, I excited, but because God, I got harassed by a child.
Like, I know this is gonna sound like the most insensitive way to phrase it, but I feel like having a child is probably like the most interesting, like, science experiment that. Like, you have this little person that you can just mold and shape,
in
your image, and like. And then it never really goes that way because I mean,
sometimes sometimes because while I am a lot different than my father, we have a lot of similarities as well, and like we really come together when it comes to this whole business thing. So like that's where I get my mindset from him, you check. So that's like where we could bond and all that kind of stupidness.
I don't know who I belong to. I think I'm possibly adapting. Kind of like
my sister used to tell me that when I was like 6 now. I used to start to cry.
Like my mother, she liked volleyball. I like volleyball. That was about the only similarity that there was. I don't play volleyball no more. That's and the similarities right there. It's like so. Like my mother and my brother had a lot more in common than me and my mother, and it's just like I don't know, cause they was both into reading and whatnot. They used to spend a lot of time reading.
But both
that was never my thing like that.
All three of my mother children got something alike with her. Like for instance, my brother and my mother got the whole reading thing.
Like, I guess the athletic thing is something from my father. I know he was good, but I know he was an athlete then. I know he used to play baseball, and he used to play baseball, which is to me the most boring sport like ever.
That's no sport, man. That's like golf.
I'm sure you're gonna lose. Like whoever is the fans of baseball and stuff that we got here, we just shitting on their sports and whatnot. But
man, you running around in a circle. You ain't even active most of the year. You're active like 10% of the time, man.
Baseball is the only sport you could play and potentially not even play. Let's say, for example, you have a really good pitcher and the team can't bat. What happens in that situation? And when it's your turn to feel and think, if no balls is hitting your direction, if everybody just strikes or strike, you just stand up there outside.
But you hear me say you're only active 10% of the time then?
The only, like, ridiculous.
Golf, you're more active in golf than baseball.
Yeah, you have to do something. Like, if you swing and miss 3 times, oh, well, you got to wait another time and sit down on the bench and watch the game.
You're more active in ping pong, man. Come on. But anyway, I think, you know, we went off topic again. But
yes,
I think that's
the case.
that's a good way to wrap up. It's been an hour.
Yeah, man.
I would like to thank everybody for sitting through this week with us. It's been a while again. We could never seem to reach the 45-minute mark. There's always some kind of bullshit we're talking about that leaves it prolonged.
Yeah.
But that's fine as well. I mean, once I entertain with the conversation, it's all good. So, like always, thank you for listening again. If you have anything you'd like us to talk about specifically, or somebody you would like us to talk to or interview specifically, hit us up. Let us know in the comments, or hit us up personally. Don't forget to check out the Facebook page, our YouTube page again for the video. Hopefully we can get the video up this week.
Yes, let's hope. I'm going to check, cross my fingers and everything, make sure that it's there
with some visuals, and you know, leave us know what y'all think. Yeah, and that's it, Mr. King.
Yes, and with that, we'll see you the next time we link up.
Blessings.
You don't know.